It is December 27th, 2020. This is the Menorcan Mullet Report. Hey, I'd like to thank everyone for the kind words on the passing of my mother. And it's just overwhelming to see the response from people I really don't know who have reached out and said, hey, we really are sorry for your loss, and it's been pretty awesome. Made a trip out today to do a little fishing and had caught one nice redfish here. Of course, we didn't keep this guy. This is breeding stock, and we quickly returned this one to the sea. And on our way back in, we decided to stop by the wreck and get a little video for you guys, and saw a lot of activity. First thing we noticed was the helicopter was up, but it really wasn't over the wreck. It was kind of on the west side of the wreck, making circles in an area we typically have not seen them operate that aircraft. Got our little minds wandering. We saw the crane that was moving. Keep in mind, this is over on the west funnel. This would be the side closest to the Port of Brunswick. And it's obvious that they'd been doing some cutting. It looked like they'd made some headway with some of the chains. And our curiosity really started to get the best of us, and we decided to kind of venture over and try to take a look at what was going on over on the west side. And then we noticed that the tugs that were out had their monitors going and were spraying the surface of the water, obviously trying to push something back into the environmental barrier that's there. And we began to fear that there was possibly some contamination that had escaped. And as we made the trip around to the other side, here we see the tugs that are had their monitors gone, and both of them were working pretty hard on the this would be on the north side of the ship, off the stern side gate. We could really see those guys were working really hard with the monitors. And yeah, once we kind of got around towards the west side of the ship, we began to see an oil slick, and they'd lost containment of part of this. And I don't know how much they were planning on or knowing that they might get out, but this looked pretty significant to us. Once we got around there and began to take a look at it, it was pretty obvious that there'd been a breach into some of the system. You can see on the chains here, they were tight, but we really didn't hear or see any of the bangs that we've associated with the cutting operation. Again, both of the chains being hooked directly to the blocks, and the blocks not being used like we'd seen them before. And this apparently is pretty efficient, because we think they probably cut into some oil lines or possibly some fuel tanks aboard the ship. The oil slick itself that we saw was pretty significant. It looked like it stretched for 3/4 of a mile on the west side of the ship. And once we got around, we saw one of the environmental boats was deploying some boom. We think that we must have gotten there just as all this was happening, because we didn't see the big flotilla of environmental boats that we've seen in the past. Maybe they were making calls, but right in here, we are right in the center of the slick here, and you can see where the ripple is on the left side of the screen, and where it looks like it's smooth and shiny back over to that right ripple. We are right in the middle of the slick, and here there was just a real strong smell of some sort of oil, fuel on the water surface. As we started to go through it, we could actually see clumps of this stuff on the surface of the water, and we got some shots of this stuff that we saw down there. Just looks pretty bad. We know those guys are working hard to try to prevent this, and I'm sure that they're got some mediation equipment on the way, but this looks like it's gotten out of the barrier and again was headed into the estuary of the St. Simon Sound. And you can actually see this lake here. It's like it looks like a little river inside the sound. Best way I could describe it. It was very noticeable and very easily identifiable. You know, we're not allowed to fly the drone in here. The Coast Guard has kind of shut us down from that, but as you can see, it was not necessary because this telltale sign and smell, and of course we dipped some of this stuff out with a bucket, and it was obvious it was oil. Hey, if you haven't done so yet, we ask that you subscribe to the channel. It looks like things are getting ready to start getting very interesting here at the St. Simon Sound. Send us some comments. We love to get those. You guys stay safe out there.